All right. Hi, friends. Here with an update for you. It is currently 10:30 at night, and I have listened to half of Carrie Soto is back, and I'm going to walk you guys through some of my thoughts so far about that. Just a tidbit of information. I realized in this time that I accidentally deleted my intro to this video, which was about 10 minutes long, explaining everything I was going to do in the vlog, all the things I was going to look for in specific books and blah, 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 which you've already seen that intro since you've at this point in the video, but I'm gonna have to refilm that in the morning, and I'm just a little salty about it because I accidentally deleted it. It was my own fault, but it's fine. We move on, right? It's fine. All right, so let's talk about Carrie Soto is back. That is the book that I decided to start with, and I took a ton of notes on my phone, which I'm just gonna read to you as I talk about it. I found that for my own style, that's like the easiest thing for me to do. So let's do that. So the first thing I noticed, again, all spoiler free. The first thing I noticed in Carrie Soto is back is that the main character is pretty egotistical, and that plays a part into the story and is part of her character development. But yeah, she's pretty egotistical. The audio is exceptionally well done. I haven't listened to Daisy Jones and the Sixth, but I would say that given what everyone says about that audio, this is probably on par. Again, I haven't listened to it, but this is a full cast. Like, we'll get more into that in a second, but it's very good. This book is about tennis, and tennis is a very emotional sport, which I thought added some depth to the book. You also don't need to know anything about tennis. Everything will be explained to you, like the scoring and how it works and the stakes and why certain things are important and why a serve is like the entire game of tennis. So I think that some people may not read this book because they think they need to know things about tennis or they need to be lifelong tennis fans. I would say no. I am a lifelong tennis fan. I've been playing tennis since I was about 6 years old with my grandmother. And so this book really resonates with me in that regard because her father, Javier, has been her teacher since she was a kid, and he loves tennis. And that just reminded me of my relationship with my grandmother and her love for tennis. So I'm really relating to that aspect of the book quite a bit. But you don't need to know anything about tennis. You don't really even need to be a tennis fan. I would say it would be helpful, but everything will be explained to you. And yeah, I thought I would mention that aspect of it. It's a really good commentary on a father-daughter relationship. We don't have a lot of that out there. This is a good commentary on that, I think, in my opinion. I said this book is very listenable. It's relaxing, but not in terms of the story. It's just a chill audiobook. I'm not sure I would enjoy this on paper, though. I think I would be bored. I'm not sure. So I still kind of feel that way. Like, I don't think I personally could make it through this novel on paper, but listening to it and doing something else while I'm listening has kept me engaged with the book. But for me personally, this is very contemporary fiction. It's very much a character study, and that's all it is. And I am enjoying that. I think for my personal reading taste, if you watch this channel a lot, you know my personal reading taste. I would not make it through this on paper. I definitely would have DNF'd it. But because Penguin Random House Audio has given me an audio of it, that's making it more accessible to me. So if you're someone who has a similar reading taste to me, but you want to get into this book, I would definitely suggest the audio. A quote that I pulled out of here that I really liked was, "You're not born that person, you were born to become that person." There's a lot of commentary on what it means to be the best. So what it means to be number one, like a number one seed, versus what it means to just be the best. I really like that commentary. There's also a lot of commentary on age, and specifically how women in industries age and how we look at women who get older within industries, and how our bodies change with age, especially also within the realm of sports, and the damage that young athletes do to their bodies to become the best and how that affects them when they get older. And so this story is set up, and I would have told you at the beginning of this video about what the story was about, and so you already know. But I thought there was going to be more about the before time, like her rise to fame. So basically, as given, the title and the synopsis, she rose to fame to the top, left the game. I won't tell you why, because I think that's something that, it's not a big deal, but that's something you could glean from the book. Left the game and is deciding to come back because her record has been stolen from her again in the synopsis. And I thought that like it was going to be half of the book was her rise to fame and the other half was her coming back. I don't know why I assumed that would be the structure and layout of this book. It's not though. About the first 20% is about her rise to fame, or maybe even about 20%. And then after that is all about her coming back. But it does connect the two about how her rise to fame is affecting her ability to come back. And I said, this is really for contemporary fiction peeps. Like, I would not really recommend this to anyone else unless you're a big Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. There's a whole sports cast music and radio house sounds, which is really cool, which has to do with the full cast audio. So when there is a commentary like on a sports center, or if you watch ESPN, you know what I mean, they actually like have the radio sounds in the audio, which I thought was really cool. So if you guys watch American Ninja Warrior, they are always commenting on people's age, people's bodies, people's abilities. If they're women, they're like, oh, this is like the best woman and she's 30 years old and blah, 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 blah. If that shit annoys you, which it's really annoying in American Ninja Warrior, there's a lot of commentary on this in this book. And I think that's a good thing. Like, you're not beat over the head with it, but that underlying message of like the reasons those aspects of American Ninja Warrior annoy me, like, she's commenting on that in this book, which I really appreciate. And I wrote, so this is one of the last things I wrote, is I'm almost to the 50% mark, and though I'm interested in it, I could take it or leave it. Like, if the audio cut off and I never heard the end, I wouldn't be extremely bothered, but I would be annoyed. So that's basically where I set with how I feel about this book right now. Is this just isn't my main genre. Taylor Jenkins Reid has written other books like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I loved, but I loved that for the queer aspects of it. And she's also written romance novels, which I haven't, romance, they're more like Colleen Hoover as in Romance Plus. I don't know, I haven't read them yet. This is very contemporary fiction. And that is just not my go-to genre. So because of that, I don't love this. I'm moving away from rating systems. So at the beginning of this video, I would have given you all the things I'm looking for in this book based on the genre. I'm going to wait to comment on those till we get to the very end of the book. But yeah, those are kind of some of my thoughts I've had so far while reading it. Again, if this was on paper, I'm not sure I would make it through, but the audio is really engaging and fun, and I'm going to continue. So what I set out to do is, it's 10:30 at night right now. I started this book at 7 p.m. I wanted to listen to it all in one go, but I'm tired, and I feel like if I continue to push myself through to the end, I'm going to end up hating this book. So what I'll probably do is listen to about another hour, because that's not fair to you guys, just because I'm being impatient and want to get something done. Reading is about an experience. I've been thinking a lot about that recently, about how reading, especially books that we're never going to read again, we're reading it for that experience at that time. And so I'm trying to take a step back, chill out a little bit, relax more with books, and enjoy the experience of them. So because I'm focused on that, I think I may go to bed, or I may read something else this evening and pick this back up tomorrow and finish it. I definitely want to get this video out to you guys as soon as I can, but I don't want my impatience to taint my view of the book. So yeah, I think I've gotten half of it done. I can get the other half done tomorrow and then report back to you guys. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hi friends. So it is Friday, August 12th. I am homesick from work. If you can't tell, I feel absolutely horrible. I took a COVID test this morning. I don't have COVID, but I feel like crap. So I apologize for that part of this. So yeah, I just wanted to update this vlog and let you guys know where I'm at in my reading. So I did start The Awoken, and I have since finished it, and we're going to talk about why I didn't update like halfway through and that kind of thing. So basically I listened at 2 times speed, but I'll talk in terms of like the audiobook as a whole. So it is 15 hours long. I listened to 9 hours of it, and I skipped through the last 6 hours of it because I just didn't care anymore. But let me like walk you through my thoughts, and then I'll pull out my notebook where I like wrote down, you know, the different ways that I was going to like rate or talk about the book. So I don't know if in the beginning of this vlog, if I talked about like what the book was about or anything, but basically the main premise is that in this world you can be, I did talk about it, but I'll just remind you guys, in this world you can be like awoken by this new technology. So they basically like freeze you and then they can bring you back to life, but there has to be a cure for the illness that killed you. Like if you get like shot or something, you can't be brought back. Like it's basically illness based, and they have to find a cure for that illness to bring you back. So and in the current like world, it's United States. This is very frowned upon science. It's basically like they talk about it in terms of it being like reversed abortion. So like for the Supreme Court, like the Supreme Court is very involved in this story, and they even talk about Roe versus Wade, and it's very much like the morality of it is the debate, like reversed abortion kind of. So yeah, it's a very political novel, but let me just walk you through my thoughts. And I started out absolutely loving this book. So I wrote, the writing is spectacular, and you start off going, she doesn't miss a beat. You aren't out here, oh my God, guys, my writing, and I'm sick. She doesn't miss a beat, and you aren't out at her death. She's explaining things. I love that we aren't easing into it. So we very much like, you go right in at the time of her death. I would definitely look up trigger warnings for this novel before you read it, because there is a lot of talk about death and illness and cancer, terminal illnesses, things like that. A lot of talk about grief. I would definitely look into triggers. I wrote, oh my God, this is so good. I don't want to get my hopes up, but gosh, the writing is so good, and I'm so here for this. It's early, but so far the science makes sense, and you have to have a cure to bring them back. I could totally see this being a thing, which I stand by that. I could totally see this being a thing that happens. You have a meaningful where you decide before you die, and they use that to bring your conscious back. So for example, like before you die, if you agree to take part in the science, you will pick a word that's meaningful to you, and when they're bringing you back to life, they will use that word to like connect your conscience and like emotional well-being to bring you back. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool. I would say this book definitely won't work for everyone. It's very cinematic. Like the storytelling moves kind of like a movie. It's very cinematic. She has these flashbacks. That's part of the synopsis, is when you are brought back, you will flash back to memories of your previous life or whatever. And she definitely has, I'm sorry for the background noise, guys. I'm just trying to get through this part so I can move to Love on the Brain. In the editing, I will try to suppress the noise as much as possible, but really you're not missing much of this book. So if you want to skip through this noise, I don't blame you, and move to Love on the Brain. But anyways, if this book felt so different from anything I'd ever read, the discussions with the impact on the United States, the political system, and how it affects abroad. It's a very, very political novel, like down to Supreme Court cases, how policies would be put in place, how it would work logistically. I felt like the flashbacks, like the memory flashbacks, were very intricate. Like the character would just be sitting there, and then like sitting in like the present world at which she's been brought back, and then all of a sudden she would be like engrossed in the world that she lived in 110 years prior. I'm not going to say much about this because I don't want to spoil anything, but it does have very much like Mockingjay vibes, if you know, like from the Hunger Games, like the whole Mockingjay premise. That is definitely appropriated in this book, not in a bad way. It is pretty dark at times. There are things with children, so just know that going in. I would recommend a physical copy. The audio is very good, but there are like figures and things that are described in the audio that I think could be useful in a physical copy of the book. Okay, now this is about at like 50% through when I was about to update the vlog, and I was like, let me push through a little bit more to make sure I'm actually going to finish this book. I felt like it started to get repetitive and long-winded. Like we started to just move from one point to the other, but like nothing was really moving the story forward. I felt like this book could have been a lot shorter than it was, like 100 pages shorter. Like the concept of this, and this is where like my notes kind of really end, and I can just talk from here, but the concept of it was so good, so well thought out, so well done, but it didn't need to be so long. It was clear that the author had this concept in her brain, and she had a point A to a point B, and these plot twists and this romance that she wanted to develop, but she made it take entirely too long that I lost interest and like just didn't care at all overall. So let me pull up in my notebook here
the things that I told you guys at the beginning of the book that I wanted to rate this one based on. So for The Awoken, this came out August 9th. It's currently August 12th, which is Friday. So it came out this past Tuesday. I hope to get this vlog up to you guys this weekend because Love on the Brain releases the 30th and Love on the Brain releases the 23rd and Carrie Soto releases the 30th. So I want you guys to have plenty of time before you view it because those are the main two books of this vlog. This was kind of just an in-between filler. But yeah, okay, so and in terms of like talking about this book and rating it how I told you guys I was going to, one of the things was how thought-provoking is it? I think that this book was extremely thought-provoking. It just moved entirely too slowly. The audio, that was another thing. The audio is really good. Length. This is the one that would have really pulled down my rating. Excuse me. Like, it was entirely too long, which I've already kind of talked about. And again, had it been like 100 pages shorter, I think it would have been good. I only have the audio, so I'm not sure what the actual page count will be, but the audio was entirely too long. Like, it should have been a 10-hour book, not a 15-hour book. The morally gray / morality of it, I do think it took an interesting turn and concept on morality, but that aspect wasn't dove into enough for me. There weren't enough situations where I was like there are towards the end, but at that point I didn't care enough to feel like it was really morally gray, if that makes sense. Would I recommend this or not? I would recommend this to a very specific kind of person. Someone who really likes dystopian, also really likes character studies, doesn't mind really slow moving plots. That's who I would recommend this to. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else. The plot twist was not surprising. I saw it coming. I could read through the lines. I didn't feel like this was a big shock, which to me, I usually am really gullible and plot twists really get me. So I just didn't care about the plot twist by the time I got to it. And then the last part I wanted to rank was, does the book make sense? It definitely made sense. It was well thought out. The author put a lot of care into detail, explanations that weren't too boring. Like, that aspect wasn't boring. It was just that I'm so sorry for the sound in the background, guys. I can't do anything about it right now. And I just want to get through this so I can start Love on the Brain because I'm sick, irritated with this book, and just want to move on. So I hope I can edit that out, but just know that I realize it's there. I'm so sorry. We will get to Love on the Brain soon. But I think she did a really good job this is me thinking about editing out the sound, but I think she did a really good job explaining the world. I think that was really well done. I don't have any complaints about that. I wasn't confused. I didn't feel like it was too much or overdone or overanalyzed or underanalyzed or underdone. It was just everything else about the plot moving. It wasn't moving. And I love Strange the Dreamer, so I can deal with slow moving plots. But this, I don't know, it didn't work for me, and I'm disappointed because the concept was so good. And technically, I would say I DNF'd this book at about 70% through because I skipped 3 hours, listened to the end, and still was I don't regret it. So yeah, take that for what you will. But I'm sick. I don't feel good. I'm home from work. My comfort is reading romance. I'm going to go read Love on the Brain by Hazelwood. And I swear to God, if that is bad, I'm going to lose it because I loved The Love Hypothesis and I have a lot of high hopes for that. Let me just remind you guys of what I'm going to be looking for in this book based on my rating. I will probably do a 50% check, 50% of the way check through. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. But no matter what, I will come back and give you all my thoughts on the book. So I'm going to be looking, again, it releases the 23rd of August. I'm going to be looking for the chemistry between the characters, the angst, the comedy, how the comedy is used, the romance plus elements, if there's more talk about depression or working in STEM or what else does this book have to offer? What am I going to take away from it? And then the in-between moments, basically the moments where the plot's not moving forward, kind of like what failed in The Awoken, but the in-between moments and how well done they are and if I still feel interested and invested in the characters. And then I will rate the audio and how well done the audio is. So I'm going to get something to drink. I'm going to lay down on the couch and just listen to Love on the Brain and be in my happy place. So I will check back in with you guys at some point. I apologize that this part of the vlog was kind of chaotic, but hopefully you got what you needed out of it. I've been trying to detail my thoughts a lot better by taking notes on my phone. And that's what I'm referring to when I report back to you guys, because I feel like I will come sit down in front of the camera and have all these thoughts, but not be able to get them out. So I apologize for Dora in the background, but I'm going to go listen to Love on the Brain and I'll catch up with you guys later. Hopefully a better me. Even if I don't feel better, hopefully I'm not as fed up with the book I'm reading. Okay, hi, hello. It is still the same day as when you saw me review The Awoken a second ago, but I'm now 40% into Love on the Brain. I am showered. I figured I would update the vlog after a shower because that really helps open your airways. And yeah, just being sick and trying to vlog, not a vibe. But the point is to tell you guys if you should buy these books. So I am 40% into Love on the Brain. I do plan to finish this today. So hopefully this vlog might it's Friday. You guys might be able to view this like Friday night. It just depends on my day and how I'm feeling and what I'm able to get out there. But per the usual, let's read through my notes so far. So they're pretty long. They're pretty lengthy. No spoilers are going to be here, but let's talk about this book and see if it's as good as the others have been. Sorry, my hair is like really distracting me because it's like a mess. But I guess that's just the vibe of being sick. You don't always look great, but it's fine. Okay. My first note/thought on here was this better be good. And then I said, I'm 1 minute in and the sarcasm is top tier, which is why I love Ali Hazelwood's books and characters so much. The mix of that with science and rom-coms, I'm sold. I can really relate to the college atmosphere, which is something I miss since being finished with school. You don't realize how much you miss something until it's gone. So really reading about people in academia and like progressing in their career goals and through college was something that I was really passionate about and really enjoyed while I was in it. And this is my first fall semester not being in school because I graduated last winter. So this is definitely banking on that whole thing of like, I really miss that and like the fall season and going back and seeing all my teachers and colleagues and students and friends, and this story is really making me reminisce on that, so that's nice. I said there's always a strong friendship element or sisterhood or a strong other support system of a sort. So in this story, Bree, our main character, she has a sister who lives abroad, who she's very close with, who she calls a lot. And I love seeing their relationship. And her sister currently lives in Singapore. So often Bree is calling her at like 2:00 in the morning and her sister's like, what do you need? And she's like, oh my God, I have to work with Levi Ward again and blah, 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 blah. Because you guys know it's part of the premise. I told you what the premise was at the start of the book, or at the start of this vlog. But in case you forgot, basically the premise is our main character, Bree, is a scientist and she's going to work at NASA. She has an arch nemesis. His name is Levi Ward. Back in grad school, they did not get along. He like made fun of her. They were like competitive against each other, whatever. And he's also going to NASA to work on this same project. And she's like, oh my God, I can't work with him again. Like he hates me. I hate him. Enemies to lovers type of thing, So that's basically the broad premise of the book, is that they're going to have to work together. She also runs this online thing on Twitter called What Would Marie Curie Do? And it's basically where women in STEM can submit things to her Twitter where they discuss like issues in STEM, but in a comedic way. But it really tackles like feminism and issues in academia, especially in STEM, with women, the way they're perceived, how they get less funding, how they're taken less seriously. She's created this forum anonymously. Nobody knows it's her behind What Would Marie Curie Do? And it's hilarious. It's like the things that people submit are like really serious, but they make them really funny. And it's like this online support system for her that she runs. And it's great. I love that aspect of the book. But yeah, that's the premise of it. So she calls her sister when she finds out she's going to be working with Levi again. And she's like, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. It's an emergency. Her sister being in Singapore is like, are you dying? Who's dying? Is somebody dying? Because you're calling me at 2:00 in the morning. And she's like, I'm sure somebody out in the world is dying. Again, that comedy that I love. It's not me, except I feel like I'm going to die because I have to go work with this guy again. So anyway, that's kind of the premise. It is enemies to lovers, office romance kind of thing. And then in the premise of the book that you're given at the very beginning, you find out that that eventually Levi is going to start taking her side and taking up for her, but she can't figure out why that is and why it's happening. So yeah, that's kind of cool. She also has an online relationship with another, it's a male creator. It's not like a romantic relationship. It's a friendship, but he also runs a similar Twitter and they both don't know each other's identities. And I'm telling you that I wrote this in my note and I still don't know who it is. I wrote this early on, like 20% in, and I'm now like 40% in. I don't know who this person is, but I have a feeling that it's Levi. Maybe I want it to be Levi because I think that would be like a huge reveal at the end. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to comment further on this at all because I don't want to spoil it. But even early on and still now, I'm like, could it be Levi? Like that would be a really cool plot twist. That being said, it would also be really cool to see her have a male friend, because that's also not represented in books very often, especially not romance books. Like the main characters never really have male friends that they're just strictly friends with. That like they always have to be the friend to lover. So I think it would be really cool on one hand if it isn't Levi to kind of see that relationship as well. But also I kind of wouldn't mind if it's Levi. But yeah. Yeah, and his name is Smack. His like screen name is Smack. So she talks to him about like her day-to-day things, which is really cool. And it would be really interesting if it is Levi, because she definitely mentions him. And there are times where Smack will mention things where you're like, could that be Bree that he's talking about? But yeah, it's all conspiracy. So yeah, all throughout this book, it gives me the feeling of wanting to read it again. You know, when you're loving a book so much that you're like, I could restart. I'm on page 100, but I could restart and already read it again. Like that kind of feeling I'm already getting from this book, which is really nice. There's cats in it. We love a good cat novel. I also said I want to reread this so that I can annotate it. I'm listening to an audio from Penguin Random House, so I can't really annotate it. I could write bookmarks, but I want to go back and physically annotate this book because there are so many like hilarious lines that I just want to pull out and be able to like flip through, do a like little annotation flip through and be able to see those lines because they're just hilarious. Like, and I really want to be able to do that. So I suspect like a friend of mine, Elliot, was kind enough to let me buy his Afterlight subscription box from him for this month so that I could get a copy of the special edition. But I also bought a regular copy so that I can annotate it and not write in the special edition. So yeah, looking forward to do that. And if I do go back and tab those things, that's something I would probably share on our Patreon with our patrons because I think that they would really like that. Okay, so I wrote, I just love Ali Hazelwood's character so much. I want to hug this book. I don't even care about small things. I'm not liking the Insta love. Like there's one scene where you think it's going to be Insta love, but my next note is, oh, turns out it's not. They're still in the grumpy sunshine trope. So it is very grumpy sunshine. I also wrote, oh my God, one of my favorite tropes just happened. I can't tell you because it's a spoiler, but this book does have one of my favorite tropes. Can't tell you what it is because it's a spoiler, but I'm definitely loving that aspect of it. I wrote this, and I mean this sincerely. If you love the love hypothesis, you will eat this up. Her main characters very much resemble the main characters in the love hypothesis, but not in a bad way. Like if you loved the male and female lead in the love hypothesis, they very much resemble Levi and Bree and Love on the Brain, but it's not in a bad way. Like you don't feel like you're reading the same book. You're just getting the same kind of vibe from the characters, which I really love that. And then the last thing I've wrote so far is the MCs don't read the same, but they read similar, but not in a bad way, more like in a good way. Like it's familiar, but the familiarity that you're looking for when you read an author that you love. So yeah, that's my update. I'll update you guys again when I'm finished. Again, hopefully it will be later this evening, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little bit better right now, but I almost was about to cough, but only because I just showered and the hot air really like helps get things out of your lungs. But yeah, hopefully I can finish this evening and get this out to you guys. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this vlog so far. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you are and subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks guys. See you at the last update. Okay, hi, hello. Welcome to the end of the new release vlog. I am outside right now because as you guys know, I've not been feeling well for like half this vlog, which has been today. I have powered through and listened to a ton of audiobooks though to try to feel better. I still don't feel great, but it's fine. Not the point of this. We did it though. I completed Love on the Brain in one sitting, which was really nice. I really loved this book. 5 easy stars. In fact, I would say that I probably loved it more than the Love Hypothesis. I think I liked both main characters better. I liked their story better. I felt like it was more realistic. And I love the Love Hypothesis. Still to this day, I love the Love Hypothesis. I just made a whole video on books, if you love the Love Hypothesis, what you should read, because it just hits everything for me. Humor, like it's not as cringy in my opinion. Speaking of cringy, people always said that the Love Hypothesis sex scene was really cringy. That's fine. This one has a lot more spice in it compared to the Love Hypothesis. Like in the Love Hypothesis, it's only like 1 or 2 times. It's like 5, 6, 7 times in Love on the Brain. But yeah, I really, really, really loved this book. It's hard to beat the Love Hypothesis, and I feel like Ali Hazelwood's just continuing to grow as an author, and we've only like scratched the surface of what she's going to be able to do, and that just makes me really excited.
I personally enjoyed the one novella of hers that I've read. I haven't read the other two, but I know people weren't too thrilled with those. This is definitely like a whole nother level, way more thought out, and is really, really good. So let's run through the list of things I told you guys I was going to review. The first one is, sorry, I was looking at the wrong list. The chemistry between the characters, 10 out of 10, amazing. They definitely had a ton of chemistry. I would say it was a little bit more slow burn than the Love Hypothesis, although the Love Hypothesis is pretty slow burn. So I would say that Allie Hazelwood definitely, sorry, my neighbor's getting home, but Allie Hazelwood definitely took her time with these characters. Yeah, there's a lot of chemistry between them. But I wouldn't say there's like a ton of inks between them. It's more of just a slow burn of how they get together. The comedy, top tier. Like I said before, I want to go back and reread this and annotate it just so I can pull out the comedy and the comedic scenes. That being said, I would say the comedy's probably not for everyone, but I really loved it. All right, so the next thing I told you guys I was going to evaluate is the romance plus elements. And I would say they're not Colleen Hoover level, but there's definitely more to this novel than just the characters falling in love and getting together. There's a lot more to it than that. And I did pull out things, and like there's mental health representation. Again, I've already talked about all the stuff in STEM and women, and that's all there. And there's even commentary on like if the GRE is an accurate exam for graduate school, which as someone who has a master's and had to take the GRE, I really appreciated that commentary. There's definitely a lot to take away from this novel. It's very exciting and fun, and I loved it a lot, and I hope that when you guys read it, you do too. The wind's blowing, and I'm trying to like read you guys this thing. Oh yeah, and the in-between moments, you know, I talk about that a lot, like the moments that get us from point A to point B, and when the plot's not moving as much, do I care about what's happening? Absolutely. I loved every second of this novel. Every second of it. I was not bored at all. Like, all the in-between moments were so good. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And the audio is really good. Yeah, I would say if you typically consume books via audio, you won't be disappointed by this audio at all. So yeah, that concludes the end of this vlog. I would say that Carrie Soto is worth your money. Awoken is only worth your money if you're the type of person that I described when I was reviewing that. And Love on the Brain is worth your money even if you're not a romance reader, because I found that people enjoyed the Love Hypothesis even when they weren't romance readers. But if you are a romance reader, then it's definitely worth your money. Yeah, so this was really fun. Please let me know if you guys enjoy, you know, getting my opinions early before books come out. Because I'm a Penguin Random House influencer, I have tons of audio arcs that I can review for you guys. They're pretty time consuming, which I don't mind at all, but just let me know if it's something that you guys enjoyed, if you felt like you got a lot out of it, or if it helped inform your buying decision, because that's really something that I want to help do. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Yeah, as very, very special thank you to our patrons and to everyone who's watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.